Hi everyone, it's great to see you. Here I am at the shed, and as promised, I've managed to put together another video for you this week. So, let's go. Yes, here I am in the shed, and it's from here I'll be conducting this video this week. Life is still as hectic as ever. Caroline sends her love to everyone and hopes that those of you who follow her on her channel are still keeping up with what she's doing over there. But as I say, for us, the travelling and being able to get about has been curtailed by responsibilities within the family. Strangely enough, one of those responsibilities this week proved to be a little bit different, because I found myself actually on a video channel with my eldest. And I'll try my best to put a link to that below, because that was something rather different. I got to taste one of my favourite things in a way that I had never seen it presented before. I'll say no more, but if I can't get the link on the screen, then I'll see if we can get it in the description below. And you can have a look at me and my eldest in the caravan doing a taste test. But that was part of their channel. I'm here today to carry on the work of Let's Go by getting out these videos each month so that we can keep in contact with all of you. And I really look forward to tomorrow night being on the live show so that we can catch up again then and do the quiz and have a chat and just see how everyone's doing. But that'll be 9 o'clock tomorrow night, that's Saturday night, 9 o'clock UK time. But today I'm here to present to you a theme, a thought, an idea that I feel is important, and I know so many of you will know how important it is to me. Because today's video is going to be all about the broken bits. Yes, we find some lovely things when we're out and about. I just look around me here and I see things like this, which is practically whole, and what a joy to find it. If I look over the other side, there we go, I've got things like this, which was an absolute cracker to come across on one of our searches through the rubbish. And as you can see, there's an array over the other side there of bottles and bits and pieces that we've come across. But we also pick up the broken bits. And sometimes those broken bits carry a story. I suppose one of the greatest stories of our broken bits are these two pieces, which we found over a year apart on the same river. There had been storms, floods, droughts, all sorts in that time, and we managed to come up with the two pieces and reunite them and then use this in an art piece. So that is what I mean by sometimes just seeing something wonderful in the broken. Now, it's not always a case of putting together the bits we find because they were originally together. Sometimes I do something like this. How many of you remember we found this vase, which was smashed to smithereens? It was in about 12 pieces, and we found this figure that had nothing to do with it, and this plinth that was nothing to do with either. And then by putting them together, we created something new. But I want to share with you first off a piece that we put together that brings home that story of the beauty of brokenness, that story of something having a sense of wonder even after it's been broken. So for this story, we're going to go back to a gift I received and a project I did right here in the shed.
Let's have a look what's on this little area here, because I've been drawn to it by this, which is a really big chunk of plate or bowl. Is this part of it? No. But I can see another few pieces of this up here. Oh, so there's that bit. I'm pretty sure that's the same thing. And there's that bit, complete with slag. Excuse me, Mr. Slag. Go away. So that goes there. And that goes there. Can we find any more? Let's have a look. Oh, there's another piece. There. So let's take that over. and see if that fits. Yes, that fits there. Oh, we're still missing rather a lot of it. What's this? No, there's no colour on that. Oh, look! Oh, I like that. Is that a lion? Oh no, it's a lady. It's a pair of ladies' legs and a gentleman's leg. And it says something on the front. And something was on the top there. Oh, what a shame they're broken. They're very nice though. Oh, I'm going to take that and see if I can come up with something to do with it. No idea what yet. Sure, we'll think of something. Right, let's keep looking. What's that there? No, that's plain. And lots of interesting bits to look at, but none of our big bowl, and we want bits of our big bowl. Oh, you can see the bottle diggers have been here, digging in. They found lots of shells. 2 broken bottles. Wow, look at all those shells under there. I don't know if you can see them. Right, so if anybody stands on there, they're going to sink. So I'm not going to. Let's have a look around here. We've got the bottom of a foot warmer. Lots more shells. Oh, no more of our big pretty bowl. Oh, there's a lovely bottle. Oh, it's got a hole in it. We won't pick that up. We'll save ourselves for some bottles that are not damaged in any way. No, it doesn't look like there's going to be any more of that bowl. What a shame. So look at this bottle. World famed blood mixture. Ooh. That goes there. If that goes there and that goes under there, have we got all the bits? Possibly. I think we'll take that and see if we can join it up. We'll put that with our broken bowl. Where's our broken bowl gone? I've lost our broken bowl. Oh, I can see it. And we'll see if we can get Phil to assemble that. He does love building things back with his Gorilla Glue. Alright, we'll leave that pile there. Remember where that pile is because we want to come back for it.
Now, I have to be honest with you, my dear.
Yeah.
I know you left a few bits for me to have a look at, see if I could put them together. This one I'm dubious of.
Oh, right.
But I'm willing to try.
Okay.
But this, I think the pattern on this is so vibrant and just incredible. I love it. Look at that in the circle there.
Yep.
Isn't that lovely? So that is definitely worth a go. So while you carry on looking here, my love, I'm going to take the folks over to the shed and see what I can do with this.
Okie dokie.
Well, here we are back in the shed, which is starting to look a little more like a museum, which suits me fine. I do like my clutter and I love having all my stuff all around me. And of course, today I'm going to try and create another piece for display here in the shed. I'm going to be using these pieces that Caroline has just found while I was running around to and fro, fetching cameras and searching the dump. And we have 4 substantial pieces that I hope to join. Beautiful pattern, lovely gold, as well as the rich blues and the gorgeous orange and reds. It's just a lovely piece. And although we know without any shadow of a doubt this is not going to make a whole bowl, I trust that what it does make will be beautiful and worthy of display. Now, I'm undecided until I finished whether to make it simply an item that's displayed in its own right, or whether it becomes a means by which to display another object. But the one thing I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to use this. Yes, this is a kintsugi kit, which was a gift from Lexi B. And I've been waiting for the opportunity and the chance to get on and have a go at this, and that's what I'm going to do today. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail about the methodology that's involved in using the kintsugi kit, because I'd like to give a big shout out to Lexi herself as she was so kind as to get this for me, because she has her channel. And over on her channel there are various videos, but the video that I would recommend everyone has a look at if you want to know more about this kit is the video that Lexi B has made over on her channel for this very kit. I'm sure if you go over and have a look at her video, it'll encourage her to make more videos as well. Now, the important thing to say is there are instructions with this kit, and they include safety instructions. So I just want to assure everyone that I have my goggles to protect my eyes. Inside the kit there are a pair of gloves which will protect my hands, because the resins we're going to use today are very good at sticking things together, including fingers. So I wouldn't want to get any in my eyes, and I certainly wouldn't get my hands glued together. So we have those. We have a spatula provided for mixing. We have the two items that are required, that is the resin and the hardener. They're in their little tubs here, one yellow, one black. So I've got those ready to use. And they do provide some little pots which they say you can smash and then use for practice, but you've got to be joking. I ain't smashing that. I've got two of those, and I'm sure if I don't find a use for them, Caroline will be able to use them in her art studio, mixing up her paints and other things. So with all the stuff I've got, having read the instructions, I'm about ready to have a go. And of course, the thing with this method of repair that comes from the Japanese culture is that they would use gold in order to highlight the repaired piece. So they weren't trying to hide the repair, they were actually glorifying the repair. They were declaring that there was value in this piece that meant it was worth bringing back, and even in its story and its brokenness there was also value. So they would use gold, and we have a gold powder that we can mix in to do that. So personally, I didn't know about this Japanese culture of glorifying and recognizing the beauty of brokenness until people mentioned it on the channel in comments because of things I was saying and doing. My journey to this realization was a personal journey. It was a physical journey. It was also a spiritual journey and an emotional journey. It bore out of my own life and experiences, and I suppose is very much typified these days in the story of our mascot and friend Manky and his rise to fame from the mud paths of the back of a dump up there in Yorkshire. So I reached that clarification of understanding, I suppose, about 15 years ago when Caroline and I were on a holiday, and we were at a particular beach where the ground had been moving and things were falling apart, and part of the movement and the dereliction it caused was a church that was boarded up, and I was able to get inside this broken building and witness the vandalism that had taken place. And as I stood in that building and saw the vandalism and saw the smashed statues and pieces of broken pottery on the floor, it was in that moment I had my revelation, I suppose, and the coming together of a lifetime of experience of 45 years that showed me there is a beauty in brokenness and there is a power that is in those who have been broken. So that's where I got it. But today we're using this Japanese culture concept and we're going to put this thing together. Okay, gloves are on, goggles are on. The door is wide open and just there, so the ventilation, I assure you, it's quite chilly in here. It's well ventilated, so all of the safety regulations have been followed and we're ready to go. Well, that was a great trip down memory lane. And what a beautiful gift. What a lovely concept brought in from the other side of the world. And I understand what they were doing in trying to celebrate the story of the piece. And of course, the piece, here it is. Not as good as the day it was made, no, but as good as the day that I repaired it. And there is the gold still for you to see on each of the repair lines. And it's still here in the shed, and I use it now as a display, and I tend to put it onto my shelf and then have something displayed on it, just to give you an idea, just to stand something there in the center, and together it just shows it off. But there we have it, a beautiful, beautiful piece that just has a story to tell now, and that story will go on being told. For us, this is a wonderful reminder of a fantastic trip to an awesome dump with an incredible guy called Tom. Also, when I look at the gold, it reminds me of Lexi, her kindness and generosity, and the support she's given to this channel for so long. So it's still telling a story. And that's the beauty of it. But sometimes I will use pieces that I find in order to tell a story, perhaps from history, or something that is from the visual arts. Some of you may remember I did a piece that was a tribute to one of my favourite films, and perhaps I'll share more of that again. But I also created something using one of the things that I love to find, because as you probably know, I do like my melted glass. I always say that we find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these around the country between us. I'm sure there are those out there who have found them. I have probably found a dozen or more. Anna had some given me. Lovely bottle with poison on the bottle. But what makes this one different to all the others is the fact it's been in the heat of the fire. That transforms it. And he's not on his own. There's another one. There's another green bottle. Look at the shape on that. And what I always say when I find these is these were mass produced, millions the same, but because of what it's been through, this is now unlike any other. This is one of a kind. Find me another one, you just won't. Not exactly the same. And it's not the initial production that made it unique, it's what it's been through. And I always say to people, whatever you've been through, it makes you who you are. You can allow things to shape you, but then you can allow that change in you to be a benefit to others. It can give you strength in certain areas, and it makes you one of a kind. And that's the joy of being, is to be one of a kind, to be unique, to be irreplaceable and unforgettable. And that's what I find with these pieces. But here's a trip to a project I did here in the shed, where I took a few of those pieces, put them together in order to tell their own story.
There's a little jar there. That's a cute one. Yep. That's the trouble now. It's so long since I've been out, I want to keep everything. Put it in my bag, which is already getting a bit full. And let's see what we can see in this bit. Oh, I'm enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying it. It feels so lovely to be out and about. What's that? It's just a bottleneck, a bit of cup.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Johnson.
I'm up on top for a change and you're down the hall.
Yes.
I've got 3 things.
All right.
2 of my favourite things
Yes.
and a present for you.
All right, so we'll let you get closer and then we'll film you in case you fall. You see how soft the earth is?
Yes.
Right.
That's a present.
Oh, thank you. I've just picked up one of those exactly the same, so that means I think I've got 3 now. I want 3, so that's
There we go.
perfect.
One of my favourite companies and one of my favourite things to find, little milk bottles.
That's cute.
Either a milk or
Orange juice.
juice. It's a little bit smaller, so it could be orange juice. Actually, it's full of dirt.
Yeah.
But CWS,
Very nice.
which I love. And of course, where would we be if Phil wasn't raving about melted glass?
Oh, that's a pretty piece.
You ain't seen one of those before.
No.
It's definitely a sort of 1940s bottle, I would imagine.
Yes.
It's seen
Not
better days.
useful as a bottle anymore, but as something to look at and to feel. It's really nice.
I agree. And in fact, I've got an idea.
Oh, right.
Because I've been working on a project at home over at the shed, and I think this could be part of it. So why don't we pop over to the shed and have a look at my melted glass creation.
It's great to be back with you in the shed again. And as I said, I've got an idea. I've been thinking of this idea. I've been trying to put it together in my mind. And today I want to try and just assemble it for you and see what you think. I'd value your opinion. As I mentioned, this involves broken pieces. There's the piece that we've just picked up, but not just broken, melted. These have seen the furnace. These have been put into ash tips where they've either been deliberately fired, or occasionally ash tips would have the issue of self-combustion, a spontaneous combustion, I should say, where the fire will start because of the oxygen flowing through the products that are there. But it was often a deliberate thing in order to reduce the quantity in the landfill so they could put more in. I suppose the only way to make landfill worse for the environment would have been to set fire to it. But we managed to do both, as we had no idea at the time of the damage it would cause. But it has produced what I refer to as beautiful pieces of unique nature. And here's one of those favourites that I have found in the past, which is an absolute beaut. I love that. And I've got another one here, which is a very beautiful colour, but what a unique shape for a little pot. That one's certainly a bit different. And then I've got a biggie. Look at this. Now isn't that an absolute peach? That is just so gorgeous. And you may remember me picking this up on the day and saying, this has to go home with me. I said, it's already a soap dish. What else could it be? In fact, Caroline wasn't impressed with the idea of sharp pieces of glass in the bathroom with the soap on. So I've had to come up with another thought. And of course, my notoriety for loving these types of bottles has even led to gifts being sent via the post for me to put on display. And I had this beautiful gift sent to me, and I may incorporate that today. But of course, on the subject of gifts, when it comes to the tools for the job, I've certainly got that today, because this is my opportunity to make use of my gorgeous gift, which is my very posh, very nice glue gun, hot glue gun. So there we go, I'm going to be using that as well. So it's a day of old finds, it's a day of new gifts, all coming together. And also, I'm looking to incorporate, because the idea I've got, I think is going to lend itself to this rather damaged chap. It's got a big chunk off the bottom, but it's the Eiffel Tower, which you all know has a very significant meaning for Caroline and myself in our journey together and the romance we've shared over 40 years plus. But it's also a symbol of the French nation, and very much the French nation is a symbol of renewal, revolution, and the rising up of the new out of the old and all the rest, even to the point that they were the ones who gifted the fantastic statue to the Americans, which is now seen as a symbol of freedom around the world. And its very name typifies that, the Statue of Liberty. So I don't have a Statue of Liberty that I have found on a dump, but I do have this rather chipped version of the Eiffel Tower, which speaks of France. So as it goes together, you may understand just where my thoughts are coming from. And also, I am thinking to incorporate one of the figures that we've picked up along the way. Yes, we've been fortunate enough to find some little porcelain figures. Well, I've got a couple of figures here today. I've got this character who perhaps isn't quite in fitting, a bit dandy for the look I'm going for with my broken pots. But then we have this little piece which Caroline found. I don't know if you recall, we were on a mountaintop dump, I believe, with Mr. Tom Burley, our good friend, the lovely gentleman from the north, who I know all of you watch, and if you don't, why not? He is an amazing filmmaker as well as a great narrator, and he covers some beautiful stuff. He finds some lovely things, but he lives in a gorgeous part of the world. But we found this up there on our dump. So I'm hoping that all of this will come together in a way that works for what I want to create, and a way that you find aesthetically pleasing. Now, please feel free to comment whether you do or not like what I make. The beauty of art is you can't make art for everyone. You have to make it for yourself. And then there'll be those who love it, those who don't even understand it, and those who hate it. That's fine. That's how it's always been. But I would value your opinions as this goes together. So let's get started. Okay, first things first, let's just clear a bit of space. Righty-ho. Now we start to construct. Now my first thought is to use this as the backdrop for the piece. Now it seems to sit best that way. That seems to be the way it sits comfortably, and because as you can see, when it melted, it's gone very rounded and thin here, but we've got this flat shoulder there and there, so it's quite a solid fix. So we're going to use that as the backdrop to the piece that I'm trying to create. Then I'm going to start to position the pieces, and then when I like where they are, I can always glue them in place. So we have this. Now, I love this side because of the discoloration, but then I also love this side because of the lettering. But there is some lettering that has been almost obliterated. You can't read it at all on this side. So I'm going to go for the darker side. I think that's going to lend itself much better to what I'm trying to create. And I'm going to use that just along here. And now that shoulder there fits very neatly. You see how it just marries up perfectly on this side? So that's going to give me the opportunity to be able to glue that in place if that works. So that one is going to take up its place alongside the bottle there. Then I'm going to bring in my new piece that I picked up on the dump today. Oh, that is so textured. Again, I'm torn. This is gorgeous with the channel running through, but then this is just such a beautiful, beautiful blend. It doesn't look like glass anymore. It has changed the form completely, and it just looks gorgeous. So where do I put that? That's my next question. And which way? Could use it almost like a runner and go in through behind here, giving that sense of running into there. That may well work. Right then. So let's stay with that for the moment. I'll just bring that piece in a bit more now. Now I've just altered that slightly. You can see we've matched end for end now, so we're getting within the confines of the piece, which works, because what I want is to take the height and extend it, but try and work within this wrapping around with the bottle as we see it. And of course we've got a recess here as well. So I'm going to have a look now what we can do next. Now I'm thinking that perhaps the Eiffel Tower should be placed in the center. Let's have a look. Reaching up above, using that recess at the back. But I think I'll bring the damage to the front. Because of the message of this piece, I'm cutting the whole feet at the back and the damaged piece to the front, deliberately so. Now then, I've just had an idea off screen. Obviously the automatic thing to think of with this pot is that the opening is here, so this is the top. But of course, this is about a world that's been turned upside down. This is about bringing something new out of the old. That's the concept here, of seeing beauty coming through. So I thought if I turn it up that way, is it just me? Or with the lines here, wouldn't that form a dress for this lady and create a character that might be perfect for our piece? Now, right then, now I'm starting to think that works. That definitely, I'm definitely sticking with the lady in the dress. That's for sure. It's just a matter of choosing where to place her. But I don't want her to stand that high, I don't think. So here's an idea. What if I take this piece because what I want to do now is to take all of this and contain it, so that instead of space surrounding it and other things encroaching, I want it to be a contained piece. So here's what I'm planning to do. Here I have an old tin, and I'm planning to take the lid off the tin, and then put in the tin this way up in order to put this into the tin so that it's viewed within a space all of its own. Let's get on and see how it works. Well, I hope you liked seeing that. Some of you perhaps for the first time, some of you will have seen it on a previous occasion when we put it together. But the ingredient thing is that whether we were way off in Yorkshire as we were on that first project that we made with the bowl, or whether we were just a mile down the road as we were when we found that melted bottle that inspired putting together that piece, it makes no difference, because wherever I find the stuff, it then becomes part of the collection and part of my story and part of our journey together. We mentioned there when we were putting that together, I hope, by the way, you liked the addition of the flickering light at the end. I thought that set it off beautifully. But we also mentioned there about the Eiffel Tower. And I've got a piece here to hand at the moment. Here's another piece that some may remember. Remember I made this out of 2 heart-shaped stones that we found. And this little plastic Eiffel Tower that we discovered on the same dump a mile away from the house as we found that bottle there that went into that piece. So there's another piece we've made. I've done a fair few projects here over the time, and it's lovely to be revisiting them with you now. But before I go, I just want to share with you one more memory from the first trip. From the trip that we went on where Caroline found these lovely pieces, because that was also a trip where we found a cod bottle, but where I found myself in a bit of a predicament. So have a look at this.
Come on, get out of your hole, you're stuck in here. Right.
He's a 4'6" tall and I'm a 6 foot tall man, which means I'm 18 inches above ground level. This is going to be fun, folks. Here we go. Empty my pockets before I lose things. I'm going to have to jump and roll, I think. Ah!
Well, we will hang around and watch you.
I got one leg out.
Oh well, so we need another
One
one.
arm out. Here we go. If ever you're stuck in a hole, folks, this is how to get out.
Or not.
Ah!
Well done. Oh, a very flattering view there.
Ta-da!
Well, there we go, folks. That's it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane. Hope you've enjoyed being in the shed with me and the pandas. I hope you'll be with us tomorrow night. Hope you get to check out that taste test that I mentioned. But always remember, this time like every time, until the next time, have fun. Bye.